Yo, what's going on guys, TrickzKamikaze here, and today we're going to be discussing chapter 1012 of One Piece. If you guys happen to enjoy this video, please leave a like on it, I greatly appreciate that, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos like this. And without further ado, let's get on with this chapter review. Okay, so to start off this chapter, we start off with a cover request for a kid, and he's making a metallic bird, which is a pretty cool cover request because the bird does look kind of cool, like, not gonna lie. Plus, he really doesn't notice the birds on his head, which I don't really notice, but his head does look like a bird nest, which is really hilarious to me. So then we get right into the chapter where Izo asks Kiku, is she alright? And Kiku basically says, yes, of course I'm alright. How can you ask a samurai that? This is nothing more than an itch. And she says it'll subside when the embers of her life fades, which I really respect because I really like the whole samurai pride thing in One Piece. Not just in One Piece, but in general, but I really like how they're doing it regardless. Kiku says her heart ached much more back when he disappeared 20 years ago. Like, you really can't blame her for feeling that way, right? Because imagine your brother or like any other sibling just disappeared suddenly for 20 years. That's gotta be really rough. Kawamatsu then asks Izo, what do you think will become of Wano if we succeed in opening the country? And he says we could discuss that if we survive until morning. And he says that's a big if, which he's acknowledging that this is going to be a tough battle and we shouldn't talk like it's confirmed that we're going to win, which I respect. But it's like, you don't have any faith in Luffy, which makes sense. Like, he doesn't really know Luffy like that. He knows him a little bit, like not like any other Straw Hats do. So we go to Kanjuro and he's basically talking about the situation is already escalated into an all-out war, obviously, so we either achieve victory or we die. And he tells the other scabbards to split up and reinforce with the others while he go find Momonosuke. Kiku then interrupts him and basically asks, can I get another chance to finish off Kanjuro? And Kanjuro just looks at her like, bro, you had your chance. But then we go to Nekomamushi and he's basically informed that Pedro has died in Big Mom's territory, which I don't know why, but I would have kind of guessed that he already knew this, but I guess they just couldn't find the right time to tell him. You would have thought that Carrot at one point would have told the man by now, but I guess not. And the Barati, the man who told Nekomamushi, basically tells him that the man responsible for his death is on the island right now. And he basically tells him it was Pedro, which is kind of really funny to me because technically, Pedro did not kill the man. Like, he exploded on his own free will and did not survive. Like, that's on him. Why are you blaming Pedro? I mean, technically, Pedro is responsible for it, right? But he didn't kill him. And basically, Nekomamushi basically flies, I guess, and goes right after Pedro. And hopefully we get a fight between them, because if we don't, the anime probably will, which is great because the anime will do stuff that the manga didn't have time to do. Skip forward to the first floor attic and we have Yamato talking to Momonosuke, and she's basically going to serve bait while she runs away from the enemy. And she basically shows this little figure of Momonosuke, which I find really hilarious because just look at it. And Momonosuke just basically says, you're just looking for an excuse to fight, which I really appreciate, because if Yamato is one of those girls that just loves fighting, I would really love her to be part of the Straw Hat crew. And Carrot too, but don't tell anybody I said that because apparently people hate Carrot. And this is where we actually see Momonosuke that he's improving. That I'm pretty sure this is observation hockey, probably. We don't really have any confirmation yet. But Yamato asks how Luffy is doing, and Momonosuke is able actually to tell there's only two voices left, meaning that Luffy is fighting Kaido by himself. And Yamato basically says that she has to hurry, and most likely she's going to help Luffy fight Kaido, which I would really like to see that tag team match. That's going to be really great. Man, that's going to look great animated. I really can't wait to see that. And I really think we got to show some support for the One Piece anime because they have been doing great so far. Wano has been a great arc for the anime. And Momonosuke goes back to read the log of his father and his adventures in his book. And Oda's basically teasing us because Shinobu actually takes a peek of it, which we don't get to do because we're just the reader and he's not going to show us, which, bro, show us a piece of the log. I want to see what he was doing all those years. Skip to the second floor and we have Pirates going up to Sanji because he's carrying somebody on his shoulder. And Sanji basically calls Zoro an annoyance because he always has to protect him, which is not Zoro's fault, bro. He was fighting to Yonko. I'm not going to get into the Sanji slander, but he was doing more than you, just saying. And we basically get a flashback a few minutes earlier where Law and Zoro were falling midair. Basically, Law had switched with an object midair and him and Zoro were now falling, and Sanji would just happen to be nearby and he was able to catch them. And while that is happening, Zeus is over here looking for Big Mom, which he doesn't know that Big Mom has already discarded him for his sister, which, can you blame her, to be honest? And it's not Zeus's fault that he keeps on getting captured, but a hindrance is a hindrance, and I can see why Big Mom, like a person like herself, is getting annoyed with Zeus. And Sanji actually sees Zeus and asks him why isn't he with Nami, and Zeus basically just freaks out and ignores the nigga and goes flying off, which is kind of funny because Sanji just almost starts chasing the man like, bro, where's you going? And Sanji is mad at Zoro a lot because he says, where did you guys come from? I only make a habit of catching ladies, which I find hilarious. Which is always Sanji, right? Like, he always gets in these predicaments somehow, which I find hilarious. And Law says, I'm gonna leave him with you, and he says, hold up, explain the situation, like what's even going on, because Sanji has been out of the loop for a while now. And I love how Law is basically able to explain what happened to Zoro, because he is a doctor, and he says he probably has around 20 to 30 broken bones, and he needs them treated ASAP. He tells Sanji how to treat them, and he goes off to help with, I could assume, Kid and Killer to help fight Big Mom. Sanji gets to treating Zoro, and Sanji asks, who put you in this sorry state anyway? And Zoro actually responds and says, Kaido and Big Mom. Sanji says figures, and he says, well, I guess you making up there isn't something to sneeze at. Which you gotta like, because he basically praising Zoro for fighting 2 Yonko and surviving, and he doesn't know what Zoro was doing up there. He doesn't know how badly he damaged Kaido, so him respecting him like that is really great to me. You have to love the little rivalry brotherhood they pretty much have. And Zoro tells him that Luffy basically figured something out and that he's gonna win. Sanji says obviously, and you pretty much have to respect that because they both have great loyalty towards their captain and they know that he's going to win. Sanji asks Zoro where can he drop him off because Sanji does not want to have to deal with carrying Zoro all around. But before he can even do that, Zoro is fast asleep, which I find hilarious because Zoro is not giving Sanji the chance to shit talk, which is just very funny to me. This is actually one of the most funniest chapters in Wano, which is really great because the funny chapters are some of the best chapters to me. Kawamatsu spots Sanji, and Sanji basically says, I was just going over to check on Momonosuke, and Kawamatsu says, you don't have to really do that because Kamen won himself and he's in safe hands. And this is hilarious, right? Because Zoro just interrupts the conversation when he's supposed to be sleeping, and he says, if you want to make yourself useful, go to the live floor. Which again is hilarious, right? Because he was asleep and he woke up just to interrupt Sanji, give that suggestion, and then went right back to sleep before Sanji could get a word in. Meanwhile, on the same floor, you have Big Mom just slaughtering page 1. Ulti is furious at Big Mom for attacking him, so she goes right after Big Mom, and Usopp basically says, yeah, let's have Big Mom take care of her too. Which Nami then proceeds to tell Big Mom that Ulti is the real culprit, and she honestly doesn't have any idea if that's true. But what makes this funny is that Big Mom has not forgotten that the Straw Hats are their enemy. And Big Mom tells Nami to shut up and that Nami is next when she's done with Ulti, which was hilarious. Nami takes a step back and says to Ulti, come on, let's take down Big Mom together, which is hilarious because Ulti says, no, the second I'm done with her, you're next. So at this point, they have no option but to run, so they try to run, but before they do, Ulti stops them. She hits Kamina, basically like meaning the dog or whatever, and she tells him to die. Tama tells her to stop because that's her best friend and she's basically killing him, and she just slaps her. And this is my favorite part of the chapter, right, because I love Nami, and she slaps Ulti with no remorse. And it was coated with lightning too, so we can assume that it did some damage. And Usopp basically freestyles and says, what are you doing? We have to go. Nami says, how can I ever do that? How can I run from someone that raises a hand against a child? And she says, I'm going to beat this woman to a pulp. And how can you not love Nami, man? She's one of the best women in Shonen. I just love her. So that's pretty much the end of this chapter. Tell me guys how you think about it in the comment section below. What do you think about Momonosuke? Do you think Zoro is still going to be in the fight after a while? And how do you think that Nami versus Ulti battle is going to go? Leave a like on the video if you haven't already, if you happen to like the video, and make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on any more videos like this. Follow me on my Twitter at TrickzKamikaze, and follow me on my Instagram at Tricks_Kamikaze, and I will see you guys later. Bye guys.